Hello fellow AFOLs and welcome to Long's Bricks. Today we are taking a look at LEGO Harry Potter set 76424, the Flying Ford Anglia. This comes with two minifigures and the two little pets, as well as the Ford Anglia itself. It retails for $14.99 and it came out on March 1st. Should be pretty much available anywhere you buy your Lego. But yeah, so we have just this very basic, tiny little set, something that's kind of nice. At the lowest price point I think they can offer. Now this is the, I think, 5th version of the Ford Anglia, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But this is just kind of a nice basic little price point set. If you wanted to just have something tiny on your shelf or your desk, it could work well for that. But it's not too terribly different from some of the recent ones we've seen, and I'll get into that a little bit later on as well. But let's go ahead, let's take a look at the minifigures here first. First up here we have Harry. Now this is very similar to the previous versions of Harry we've got with the Ford Anglia in the past. He's got the print here on the front with the kind of undershirt and then the red and blue jacket or sweater. And then we have that same printing here on the back. He has the smallest version of the feet, so they have no articulation whatsoever. And then we have the standard wand piece here. He's got the exclaiming expression, we'll call it, the scared, frightened expression, whatever you'd like to call it. If we take the hairpiece off, got a kind of more calm demeanor looking face underneath. Now, to me, the scar is very, very faint. I feel like that should be a little bit more pronounced, and it's almost kind of, you don't even see that it's a lightning bolt. I wish they do a little bit more with that. But he does have the little cutout there in his hair, so you can kind of see it, but it kind of gets lost, honestly. But overall, a pretty standard little minifigure here with the tiny legs. Next up we have Ron. He's also wearing a sweater with a little bit of red there for an undershirt. Has that same printing on the back. He also has the smallest set of legs, so no bend there. Has his standard wand piece. And then he's got kind of a smirking expression there. If we take his hair off, he's got a frightened expression as well, which I think they did pretty well there. I like that. And then we can go ahead and pop this back on the hairpiece. But yeah, pretty standard little minifigure as well. This set also comes with a head wig. Pretty nice printing there on the front. Some nice molded detail in there for the wings on the back, but only has printing here on the front. No articulation whatsoever. And then we have a tiny little Scabbers as well, just has the eyes painted. But a pretty cool little addition. So for the car itself, it is done in this really nice light blue. You have the white stripe here. Now you can see that they painted the white stripe on the doors, but unfortunately it's not as bright white as the white colored bricks. So that's something that I wish they would have put a little bit more paint there so that it matched a little bit better. I also don't know why it doesn't go completely across. Maybe that's something that the actual car has that little gap as well. I'm not 100% familiar with the actual Ford Anglia. You have the tiny little rear view mirrors all the way out here in the front. You have some clear plastic translucent pieces here for the headlights. You have a sticker here for the license plate on the front. And then you have a sticker here for the license plate on the back. Some nice translucent pieces here for the tail lights. The doors can open, and we'll take a look at the interior in a moment. Wheels spin very nicely. You have rubber wheels there, which is always nice. In the back here, the trunk does open, and it comes with one suitcase. I don't know why they didn't go for two, but this is kind of the standard Lego suitcase piece. So this can split down the center and open. And then it just kind of wedges closed. And then you can pop this here in the back. Now you have a little bit more space since they only included one suitcase. If I can try to turn this vertically, doesn't want to cooperate. You can kind of fit Scabbers back here as well for a little storage space for him. And then you can close this up. If I reposition this, it closed earlier. All right, well, I promise he does fit in there. I'll have to play with it, but you can pretty much get it closed. Even if you just kind of leave it like that, it's not that big of a deal, but I have to reposition the suitcase. But you can basically close him in there. And then you can take the roof off if we unhook this. So this is just connected by this one plate here. And then it just connects to this little spot. And of course the studs here along the top of the translucent window piece, so you can see the interior here. So this is supposed to be like the, I guess, glove compartment. And then this is the invisibility booster. And then they chose this piece for a steering wheel. I don't know why they didn't just use a standard Lego steering wheel. It's kind of a strange option. I don't know why they went for that. But then you can see the jumper pieces there, so that you can pop these guys in. I'll probably have to take their wands out of their hands to make this happen. But you can just connect them on here. Now I guess I'll have to lift up the hand that would normally be in this area, so I can connect him like that. And then Ron, I guess I could leave his wand in his hand and pop him on over here. Alright, you know what? Gonna have to take the wand out apparently, and lift these. The hands have to really kind of lift up all the way. And then you can see the jumper in there, which you just connect his one foot into. I kind of wish they would give him, I mean, I know that they were smaller. This is from the second year. And they kind of fit next to each other. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze though, honestly. If you open the door a little bit, it helps, but also just kind of positioning their hands. Like if I bring Harry's hand up here a little bit, it helps just to get them in there. But they fit. It's a little snug. There is some space back here that you could attach probably Scabbers or Hedwig. If we attach right there, and then we could pop this back on and connect that there. I like the nice flat roof. I think it's nice that they just gave us this one large plate to pop on there. Or I guess technically it's a large tile piece, but whatever you'd like to call it, I think that works. So it's a very basic little set. There's really not too much to it. You can fit the two characters and Hedwig inside, or if you wanted to swap out Hedwig with Scabbers, but then I definitely don't think Hedwig would fit back here. So you can kind of close that up. Now, again, it doesn't close 100% all the way, but I feel like it's close enough. So yeah, that way you can kind of fit everything in there. If you didn't want to put Scabbers in there, you could probably put their wands in there. If you didn't have room, I don't think they'll fit in the suitcase. No, I believe they're going to be too big, but we could pop their wands and the suitcase in there, and then maybe try to fit Scabbers too. There we go. That works. So there you go. You can actually keep everything inside, which I appreciate. I think that's nice. But yeah, there's just, like I said, there's not too much to it. The doors open and close, the trunk opens, and they can fit inside. You can remove the roof. That's basically all of the features of the set. So as I mentioned previously, there have been 5 versions of the Ford Anglia now at this point, this one being the 5th. It started all the way back in 2002, over 20 years ago, which is crazy to think, with set 4728, Escape from Privet Drive. That's kind of the original Ford Anglia. Definitely, you know, a little bit more rough around the edges, had a lot more exposed studs, didn't have the sleek angles as much, a little bit of kind of a rough build there. Then we saw our second one in 2010 with set 4841, the Hogwarts Express. This was just kind of meant to have, you know, them flying alongside the Hogwarts Express. A little bit better design. That one was definitely an upgrade over the first one. But then, you know, Harry Potter Legos kind of went into a hiatus, but then they came back in 2018 with set 75953, Hogwarts Whomping Willow, and that's the set that I have. I think I do have the original as well, but it's long since packed away with my original Harry Potter Legos from, again, 20 years ago. And then they did a more recent one in 2020, 75968, number 4 Privet Drive. So the only one that I can show you today is the one from 2018. I think the one from 2018 and 2020 are pretty similar. But I wanted to at least do a comparison. So this is the 2018 Whomping Willow set Ford Anglia. We'll take a look at the minifigures first here with Ron. Now you can see that they are basically the same thing. The V-neck on the sweater is a little different, and he's got brown pants instead of gray, but it's the same outfit because they're emulating that same scene in the movie. I do think this one's definitely an upgrade in terms of the printing. I just think this sweater looks a little bit better. And I believe they have the exact same facial expressions. So here we have the smirking one. It's printed a little differently. And then we have the scared expression, which looks to be exactly the same. I believe the hair pieces are the same. This one, the new one, might be slightly lighter, but it's really not something that you can even really tell the difference of. Next up, we have Harry. Now again here, he's got different color pants, but as you can see, the torso printing is pretty similar. It's a little bit more refined. The wrinkle is a little bit higher up, and it looks like the collar of the underneath shirt is a little different. The printing on the sweater is slightly different, but it's very, very similar. The hair pieces are the same, and I believe, again, that they have the exact same faces underneath. So if we show these two here, they look to be the same. And then these two here look to be the same. So I think that's the exact same head. I don't think there's anything different there. So the minifigures are very, very similar. But if we move them off to the side, we can take a look at the two different cars. So first thing right off the bat, you can tell that the new one is definitely a lighter shade of blue. Kind of a powder blue versus like a sky blue. Once again, the printing on the door doesn't quite match the rest of the white bricks. So that was a problem even back then. I definitely like the new roof. I think having that just be flat, one big tile piece, I think looks a lot better. Because this one, you had to kind of pop this off. And then this piece was connected to the back of it to open this up. You can also see the interior here. Everything's in a straight line. So if you really took the old minifigures and took their wands off and really just kind of stood them in there, you could fit both, one standing behind the other, which is a little awkward. And while it's kind of a tight fit to fit them both in the new one, I just think that that's a better situation. I'd rather have them sitting side by side and looking a little snug than having one standing behind the other. Let me get the roof back on here. Just kind of an awkward look there. Whereas if I take this and I pop this off, and then again we'll have to take their wands out of their hands. But we'll put Ron's hands up like he's driving. And we can fit him in here. I mean, I feel like a lot of this could also be mitigated if they just gave them the like smaller legs that do have the hinge, and so that they can sit. It's kind of like a, I call them kind of like a middle leg. Like if these are the smallest set of legs, then there's kind of the middle set of legs, which are still smaller, but have the bend and have the articulation. And then there's the, you know, normal set of minifigure legs that most minifigures have. So let me get him down in there. And then we can still fit Hedwig inside. Well, we'll leave her out for now. She doesn't want to attach. So it is kind of a snug fit, but at least now they're side by side, and they look great looking at them through the front windshield, where here they're standing one behind the other, which looks kind of weird. So I definitely appreciate that. They're still about the same width. I think that's a 6 width, and I would say that they are the same height as well. And you can see that a lot of it is similar. The front is almost exactly the same build. The back does look a little different. The angle here, I think, looks a little bit better. This is definitely, you know, they just used 2 pieces to achieve that, which doesn't look bad. But now I will say all of these little pieces stacked on top of each other looks a little weird, but ultimately I still like that better. And then the trunk here, I think, is a little bit more, the gap is a little bit smaller here on the back than it was here. I don't love the 2, like having that line down the middle. I wish that was one translucent 1x4 brick instead of 2 1x2s. because then you have that line. Seems like something they could have easily fixed. And then again, here you have one trunk or suitcase. Here they did give you two, and it was kind of a snug fit to fit them side by side, but they did fit. So ultimately, I think I do prefer this one over the 2018 one. I like the lighter shade of blue. The front of the car is very, very similar, but I like the kind of area here on the back. I like this new roof better. I like the trunk better. And even kind of like the wheel wells, I feel like were achieved a little bit better here, a little bit more uniform. Whereas here you have kind of a smaller one, and then a larger piece, and then a smaller one. Here it's very uniform, which I do appreciate. I think the tires might be exactly the same. So yeah, I think it's definitely an upgrade. Even if you have some or all of the previous versions, I do think that this is definitely an upgrade. I think they've made a few streamlined points, and it just looks a little bit sharper. And I really do like the lighter powder blue. I think that works really well. I don't know which one's screen accurate. I'd have to go back and watch the movie again. But I also really like the flat tile roof. I think that looks pretty good. So you can also see the sticker, the license plate is the same there, so that hasn't changed. But yeah, just wanted to do a quick little comparison there. I know there have been 5 different versions, including this one, but I only had the one handy, but I wanted to at least compare this one. And I think the one that comes with the 2020 set is fairly similar to this. So I think it's still kind of a somewhat dramatic improvement over the most recent version. So that's going to do it for the review for this one. I definitely think it's the best version of the Ford Anglia that they've done so far. You may have one or more of the previous ones, but I definitely think that this is still a nice little set. $15 is a very nice price point. You get 2 minifigures, you get the car, you also get Hedwig and Scabbers. So I think the value is definitely there. If you're content with the ones that you have, this could be an easy skip, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're looking for a fun little build that doesn't cost too much and I think really has a good value and is an improvement over the previous versions they've done, I definitely think this one's worth checking out. Couple of things, like I said, it's not perfect. They are kind of snug in there, but I do appreciate that they are side by side. You can even put Hedwig in the back, and you can also kind of fit the suitcase and Scabbers back here. I wish it closed a little bit better, but I feel like it still closes most of the way. I also wish they would have put a little bit more paint here to make this a darker white to match closer to the actual white bricks. But that's kind of my only 2 complaints. Otherwise, I think this is a pretty cool little build. A nice little car. I really, really like the flat tile roof. I think that just looks so much sharper. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great little build. I definitely think it's worth checking out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.